Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.
Hey everybody, welcome into Going Public. I am Harry McCullough. This week, we'll be talking to the Lafourche Parish Council and their council members, the chairman, Armand Otin, Lafourche Parish Council member of District 7, and Terry Pierce, who is the Lafourche Parish Council member, District 5, who recently elected, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And the first thing I'd like to do, Armand, if you'd like to introduce us to Mr. Pierce.
Yeah, sure. So I'm excited to introduce Lafourche Parish Councilman of District number 5, my fellow veteran, Mr. Terry Pierce.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome to the council and happy to have him on board.
Yeah, so Terry, we'll talk to you a little more, of course, but why don't you give us a little bit about your background and why you got into politics?
Well, my background pretty much is, yes, I've been a member of the District 5 since 1985, when me and my wife got married. I was a member of the fire department for about 10 years. I'm also a United States veteran, 6 years. I guess it kind of started back years ago. I've been wanting to do this, and people I knew was running, and I didn't want to run against them. Jim was doing a good job, so we left it alone. And when Jim decided to resign, I thought about it and had a couple of my buddies that kind of convinced me that seeing as I'm retired, I needed to do this, and I'm enjoying it. I really am. It's a different perspective for a guy that just come out of the public to being in politics, but it's an interesting part for me is the governmental part of it. It's been very interesting, the process, the things that Lafourche Parish is doing, to me, is good. There's a good group of people there. I was born and raised in Lafourche Parish, so it's not nothing new to me, the politics in Lafourche Parish, but being involved in it now, I see it from a different perspective, but I also see it from a good perspective.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much my background. I'm retired now, so I kind of do this
You're doing it full time.
full time, pretty much.
That's right. That's right. Well, good to have you aboard. And look, like I say, from public service, from the military, into firefighting, and I know it's in your blood. Appreciate you stepping up and running for an office like that.
I'm looking forward to the next 3 years.
All right. So, Armand, how about you're breaking into rookie, right?
Yeah. So, man, I tell you what, just listening to makes you so motivated. You just want to go out and do something, right? I mean, so man,
You're a military man as well.
That's right. That's right. So, yeah, I'm just so happy and pleased that Mr. Pierce has joined our ranks, and looking forward to many more good things. And we've already collaborated on a couple of projects in his first meeting. So he's hit the ground running. So I'm hoping to do good things for his district, certainly.
Well, let's talk about your meetings and your agenda, and we're covering, I guess, what we did and where we're headed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just wrapping up 2024. Matter of fact, we've canceled our second meeting in December, which is something we've routinely done. We've approved our 2025 budget. I think it was somewhere around $159 million. As we spoke earlier, the budgets have been a little crazy for the last few years since Hurricane Ida because of all the influx of FEMA monies, insurance monies, et cetera. So there's been somewhat of a twisted, difficult to understand budget, if you will, for a few years now. And I think the next couple of years things will really start to balance out. But with that said, we do have a lot of big projects going on. From some of it was in our agenda items, which was the old courthouse. I just passed there, and they actually have it all fenced off. It's work going in the old jail roof. So there's a lot of projects that's going on as a result of Hurricane Ida. So good things.
Yeah, we had talked. I talked with the parish president about just how tough it is to manage the finances, because you guys, FEMA's going to give you a lot of money, or they should be almost $200 million worth, but you got to take bonds out, pay the bonds, and then get reimbursed from FEMA. So that's a big part of it. He said, you know, obviously you want to make sure that you guys are doing things right, the way FEMA, so you can pay off starting next January. You can pay off, I think the first payoff on the bond would be like $18 million, right?
No, absolutely correct. And you have to front a lot of this money, right? Because you have soft costs, you have architect and engineering that has to be done up front, and just to even see what it's going to cost to get things done. And so I'm going through with the fire department. We have 2 stations we lost for Hurricane Ida, and I mean we were a $15,000 a year fire department, and here we are, you know, with $3 million in bills on to rebuild 2 fire stations that originally cost like $400,000 total. Mm-hmm. But you have soft costs that are required for FEMA if you plan on getting reimbursed. So the management of all of that is massive. And of course, you know, from our constituent standpoint, things just don't happen fast enough. Tired of hearing Hurricane Ida, just like we were tired of hearing COVID, and I couldn't agree more. It's a long path. It's difficult, and there's a lot of different moving pieces to it, if you will. I mean, we see change orders pretty much every meeting because there are little things that pop up that you didn't think about, or that we were able to fix it down a different path. So both ways, having to add money or take money away, and of course all that has to come from the council, from the administration standpoint.
Yeah, got about a minute to go in this segment, but so as you got new members, is James you the only new member?
Since the new year, that's correct.
So working with these guys, you got to obviously have a learning curve for these guys, right?
That's correct. That's correct. I mean, it's not that we come on board completely green, if you will, because the administration certainly works with us. I mean, it's in their best interest for us to make us apprised of everything going on, because the projects that we want to get done, we all want to get done together for our constituency, right? We all live and play in Lafourche Parish, so it's important to all of us. We all have kids, grandkids, so it's certainly not where the administration is going to try to do something sideways. So there's a lot of help, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
All right, we'll talk more about that when we come back. We'll take a break. More with Going Public right here on Bite.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Going Public. I am Harry McCullough. Our guests today, Armand Otain and Terry Pierce, both with the Lafourche Parish Council. And Terry, we're talk a little bit about your new role. You've just been in for about a month, but already learning about ordinances and those kind of things. And
yes,
a former firefighter as well. But this particular one that you guys may be amending a little bit has to do with firefighters and maybe fundraisers. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we passed an ordinance as far as the amusements goes, and also another ordinance that pertains to alcoholic beverages because of the fact that it's close to a school. And what it does, these 2 ordinances is going to kind of streamline it a little bit to where the fire department or even a church, if they want to do it, can go to the proper people and get their letter of no objection, and then the parish president signs it, and then they can go to the tobacco and firearms and get their permits.
And it'll be a temporary thing, like maybe a fundraiser, in particular, I guess, when we're talking about your fire department wants to have a fundraiser. It's too close to the Bayou Blue School,
yes.
So they need like a temporary.
Right. It's going to be like a 72-hour thing. It's it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday kind of deal, Mm-hmm. What it is, I mean, Friday afternoon, by the time this fair starts, probably school's going to be out anyway. Saturday and Sunday, we don't have to worry about, but, we just got to go through the right process and this kind of streamlines it.
Right.
and bring this ordinance back because of the ordinance that Lafourche Parish had prior to this.
I got you. And it brought up, this is a parish ordinance, right? And it's not some, so you don't want a bar setting up right next to a high school.
Right. This is strictly for nonprofit
Right.
organizations.
I got you. Okay.
right.
So Terry, let's talk about some of the other things that are happening that you guys are going to be addressing. So that's we got a new state revenue sources and all, and we've talked about how hard it is to juggle everything right now because of money, FEMA, and those kind of things. Now you're going to have a raise, a 5-cent state sales tax, so that's going to be a little different for you guys too, right?
Yeah, that's affirmative, and so this tax reform by the governor has us a little on edge. Specifically, the fire departments, Lafourche Parish Fire Chiefs Association met in November to discuss this topic specifically, and it kind of circles back to Chief Harvey Parks of the Bar Blue Fire Department. His interest in having maybe a fundraiser to try to hit some of those shortfalls. And the last thing we want to do is we want to compromise the public safety from that side of the house, if you will. So and look, long term. This tax reform may be great, but it would certainly, we have to pay attention and to see, how we're going to be able to close things, if you will. And I really don't think that we all have a clear vision exactly of what that looks like just yet, because they just unveiled it and it's still, pretty fresh out there. And of course, it's going to go to the voters. So
Right.
We'll see how that goes. I think we have a little ways before it impacts us, but we need to be ready. We can't wait till
Right.
after the fact.
And it looks like they're going to have a fund to kind of work, if it's going to be a long-term deal, for short-term to take care of those entities as well.
That's right. That's right.
Well, speaking of, when you're talking about state and you're talking about state legislators and district guys, you have a 5-bridge project that you guys are working on?
Yeah. So State Representative Joe Ogeron did attend our last meeting, kind of gave us an update on where we stood with some of the projects. There was a 5-bridge replacement project that the states have on the books for quite some time. I'd say somewhere probably around 12 years ago. Lockport Police Chief Warren Vadros and I attended a state meeting, and we begged them to do something specifically with the McLeod Bridge due to an excessively high number of fatalities at that location. We got there here, things took off, was moving in a really good direction. Of course, you have to have funding. You kind of got to get in the pipeline. Exactly what does it look like? The challenge with the McLeod Bridge is that there's an elevation differential at the bridge. There's also, it's in a curve, and the bridge has, I won't say it doesn't have any shoulders. The sides of the bridge are on the white line, so there's no room for error. So 18-wheelers, if there's 1,500 trucks running to the port every day, Port Fourchon, they're kind of tight in that. So we end up with a lot of fatalities there. It's very dark. So the state has plans of straightening that out, making it to where it's elevated, and really good ideas. Unfortunately, the person who really picked it up was former state rep Reggie Bagala, who ended up coming down with COVID and passed away. Really good, dear friend, and really had taken off with this project. And so, we got the momentum going, and then here comes COVID, and here comes Hurricane Ida. So now it just keeps gets bumped down, and I did express my thoughts to Representative Ogeron that it's really important that we get this this one bridge addressed specifically out the 5. It's unfortunate it was grouped into the 5, and was a contract they get, they'll be able to decide which one they want to do first. But the McLeod Bridge is really a problem. We actually had 3 more fatalities there in the last about 7-8 months. So it's just a horrible location. I'll also state while we're talking about bridges, Valentine Pontoon Bridge. So since I want to say the fall of 2016, that bridge went out of commission.
That's almost 10 years.
And what happens, the state shut it down, and then they wouldn't let us use timber piles to replace anything because of new codes. So all the timber had to come out, and that ended up going from say a $500,000 project up to, I think right now we're at like a $7 million project. So trying to find the funding has been kind of brutal. And it's very important for me from a firefighter standpoint, because when I have to shut down Highway 3 to Highway 1 because of an injury crash or just a crash in general, it makes it really difficult with the big businesses, whether it's North American at La Rose or Bollinger Shipyards, trying to get traffic around there. So and then the chemical plant that I work at is right there at the bridge. So it's really dear to me. I'm hoping that we can get something going, but it's a huge price tag, unfortunately.
And a lot of those are state funded.
That's right. And I don't have Reggie Bagala anymore. The guy was really good. I miss him dearly.
All right, we'll take one more break. We'll be right back with more on Going Public.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Going Public. I'm Harry McCullough. We're speaking with the Lafourche Parish Council members, Oman Otan and Terry Pierce. Both of you guys firefighters, both of you guys military, good background, both of you guys. So Terry, you learn a lot as you've just been in a month, but
Yeah.
one of the big things that people are going to call about, and I'm sure your phone's ringing a lot, is when you got a bumpy road or you want to do things. A lot of times it's state highways, and so you got to not only know the parish people, you also got to know state people.
Yes, you do.
So give us an update on a couple of roads that are real important to your district.
Well, you know, the state highways in my district is mainly 316. And, you know, I had a conversation with Jason Onkile and Scott Boyles, the two top guys in this district for the state. And, you know, when I was campaigning, we heard a lot about when they're going to do something. And, well, I found out from the horse's mouth that come next year, April, the bid was supposed to go out December 13th, but they posted it back to April 9th. They're going to post the bids on Highway 316, which, by the way, is going to be a complete milling and resurfacing project. Some of the areas are going to be wider than they are now. Some are not because of property, you know, right-of-way stuff. But it's going to be redone from 360, from 24 all the way to Highway 182.
Wow.
And, you know, I want the public to know that this is going to be an 8-month project to a year. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. So start preparing for it now.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic on it.
It's going to be a lot of congestion. It's going to be a lot of construction. The other main project that I found out that's going to happen in my district is Lower Bayou Blue from Prospect to Lake Long Drive. They're going to do a restriping project, which should occur, from what I was told, within the first quarter of next year. There's actually 8 projects in this area, and that is one of them that's going to be done.
That's a real important thing, especially this time of year to have strike.
You know, and also I want the people to know that these parish workers are out there every day. You know, I was able to get some stuff done with Public Works here recently on a project in the Prairie area of Raceland that, in fact, probably finished up today, I guess. I'm not sure. I know they were working on it yesterday. It's not a complete fix, I understand that, but we were able to get some help to make this street a little better than what it was. For the people that live back there, there's a lot of ditch cleaning going on right now. You know, I get daily reports, and these guys are out there working every day.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you're finding out a lot of that when you get on the inside, right?
Get on the inside, you find out a whole lot.
Yeah, I think it's 237 employees with the parish, and 120 of those.
Well, I guess the other day when they had the luncheon, about 200. So I guess I was pretty close.
Yeah. Speaking of projects, and something that actually was kind of a big deal a couple of meetings ago, was the Terrebonne Parish Water District. And how does that involve Lafourche Parish, I guess, from Bayou Lafourche?
Yeah, so I was just looking, you know, when the screen came back up and it had the Terrebonne emblem and the Lafourche emblem, and so, you know, we kind of go hand in hand with each other, and you know, and certainly we always want to feel that from an administrative standpoint, as well as the you know, the legislative branch, that we're in full support of continuing our unity of Terrebonne and Lafourche. And so Terrebonne Water District is looking to increase their capacity. They do service some of our areas from West Thibodaux to Pointe-aux-Champs to Lower Bayou Blue, et cetera. But in addition to that, we like to have that unity because, you know, we have this massive pump station that's on the Mississippi River that puts water down into Bayou Lafourche to feed all the different water districts. And and to keep the water flowing. That's basically where our water comes from. So it's important to have that unity to be able to get those state and federal dollars. I mean, more people involved, the better off we are, certainly. So I think we're in good shape. You know, it was a right-of-way issue, and you know, from my understanding, there was a lot of money involved with landowners, et cetera. Really was never anything from what social media blew up to be about, you know, toxic sludge, et cetera. There was never an issue as far as contamination or something like that went. So, and all the other water districts do it. So, yeah, and certainly we live and breathe on the water in by Lafourche. My grandson's out there catfish jug lining, and we eat those catfish all the time. So there's no way I would compromise, you know, the safety of our people, including myself, family.
So yeah, what a water district does, whatever they take in, they have to use and then put back in.
That's
right?
correct.
So it's not a toxic. It's not a chemical plant.
That's correct. That's some big. And so I also want to mention we had a meeting last week with Entergy, myself, the parish president, to discuss resiliency after Hurricane Ida. They came back in and they went back with non-shielded wire, which has caused some massive problems with lightning, et cetera. So Entergy, by the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, is planning on doing some massive infrastructure improvements for resiliency, going to metal poles from timber poles. So that's going to be a huge change for this area. We haven't seen anything like that. Also, you know, Entergy was asked if they could look at some areas that have been, that SLECA has gone to the Public Service Commission to ask if they can get out of some of the areas like lake fields, camp owners, et cetera, which is a huge problem. They've been without electricity since Hurricane Ida. I think there's a ruling expected not until August, so Entergy won't be able to take any action or even talk about it really until the Public Service Commission decides what they're going to do. Today, the parish president called me and told me that he had to issue an emergency declaration for some, there are these, so cattlemen light their pastures on fire, and you see some little flames here and there. Yeah. And so in order to get Texaco and ConocoPhillips to come in and evaluate whether those are leaking pipelines, which DEQ seems to think that is just natural decay. But so there's a lot of different things like that going on right now, you know, even as we're going into the holiday season. But before we get off, I do want to wish, from my wife, Nikki, and myself, want to wish all of the viewers a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, same for you, right, James?
Same for me.
And your wife.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
forget her. Well, guys, thanks so much for the update on Lafourche Parish.
Thank you.
Excellent. That's Going Public. I'm Harry McCullough. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.